Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kwami Abdul-Bey, the elections coordinator at the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, and I am here again for yet another edition of our Friday noon webinars. In this particular webinar, we're going to do an update from a previous webinar, and we're going to talk about the status of the field operations for the two current ballot initiatives that we are partnering with a slew of other statewide organizations. And we're working to not only protect democracy here in the state of Arkansas, but also protect public education. With me, I have Dr. Dara Gaines. Dr. Dara Gaines is the field director of the Protect Our Rights BQC, which is BQC stands for Ballot Question Committee. And we have Katherine Tipton, who is the field director of For Our Kids BQC. Again, BQC is Ballot Question Committee. And we want to give everyone an opportunity to really hear, I don't want to say from the horse's mouth, but from our mouths on what's going on. There was a lot of press in today's newspaper. There's an article that's written about a press conference that went on yesterday dealing with an update for the ballot initiatives that we are advocating for. And there's a lot of good news and a lot of urgent urgent information that we want to get out. So the first thing I want to do for those of you that may not be aware, I want to give both Dara and Katherine an opportunity to explain what their ballot initiatives are and what they're trying to achieve with their ballot initiatives. And Dara, if you don't mind, let's start with you because your ballot initiative is extremely important because if we don't get the ballot initiative that you're operating to get the signatures for done, then the other one doesn't even matter. So, can you talk about the Arkansas ballot rights uh, amendment of 2026?
Absolutely. So, thank you for everyone joining us and watching, and everyone who's watching the replay. Really appreciate you for tuning in and taking a minute to care about something. This, as Kwame mentioned, is very important. So, if I back up a little bit, a ballot initiative is essentially an opportunity for people to vote on an issue. So we can make laws a lot of ways. Laws get made a lot of ways. One of the main ways is for your state legislature, somebody to come to them and say, hey, this is important. And they draft up something and they go through all those different processes that have to take place for them to agree on something becoming a law here in the state of Arkansas. Now, that's the one that we most often think of. And that's why we always get really excited when we have good candidates, because representative democracy really matters. And a less thought about way to get laws is also really useful. And Arkansans are really lucky in that we have the opportunity to make laws a different way. So we have the regular way through the state legislature, but we also have what is called direct democracy. And you do direct democracy here in the 21st century through the ballot initiative process. So we're talking about making laws. If the representative democracy model says that your state legislators, your elected representatives, they're coming up with the ideas, the concepts, the laws, and these things because they're representing you. Direct democracy says that rather than having somebody else who you've elected to make up these things, we're going to give the people the opportunity to agree on an issue and vote on it themselves. So with direct democracy, we have an opportunity to change our state constitution. We can write our own laws, and we can repeal laws or cancel out laws that the state legislature has passed. And that's a good thing because Arkansas is one of those states where we're all or nothing sort of deal, right? Either we're all blue or we're all red. There's not really much in the middle there. And unfortunately, that means that of the 3 million or so Arkansans that exist, very few of us actually get represented in the state legislature at any point in time. So this ballot initiative process is really important because it gives us, as the people of Arkansas, the opportunity to put the issues on the ballot that we care about, a chance for us to make laws that fit the times now and not some very specific group of people sitting in some luxury spa somewhere off in the hills, right? So this process needs to be protected. As I mentioned, Arkansas is one of just a couple of states that allows its citizens this freedom. And it's been the right of Arkansans that could vote for over 100 years. And once everybody had the option to vote, now it's everybody's right for now, right? And so that brings me to why this Arkansas Ballot Measure Rights Amendment is so important.
Dara, before you get into that, I want to thank you for you just gave a civics 101 lesson. Now, so if you guys watch this recording over and over again, because they don't teach this in school, Dara, and you just laid it down so smooth. So I just wanted to give you your props. You did.
Thank you very much. Right. So and put that in the history books, y'all. I got some props, man. Okay. Anyway, so we're here now to the Ballot Measure Rights Amendment, and I've sat here talking about why this is so important, blah blah blah. Well, the reason that this amendment itself is important is because last legislative session, the Arkansas legislature chose to file over 20 bills and pass over 15 bills that restricted our right to this process. They made it much more difficult for people to bring these ideas in the first place, made it much more difficult for people to volunteer to canvass. It made it much more difficult for people to even write up the language of the measures. And all of that is limiting our capacity to exercise our right to have issues on the ballot. So this amendment is going to be a constitutional amendment for the Arkansas Constitution that makes it a fundamental right that cannot be touched by the future legislature. The only time this could be changed would be if Arkansans go back and decide that they want to change it. And then we would have to go through this whole process again to get it changed. Currently, the way things are set up, the state legislature can decide how much of this right we have access to. So the Ballot Measure Rights Amendment is critically important because we're going to put a stop to the state legislature saying how much of a voice Arkansans can have. Instead, we're going to make it a fundamental right that cannot be touched by the state legislature, that says that you have a right to create these measures. You have a right to volunteer as a canvasser and get other people to sign. And you have a right to be able to sign yourself without fear of some sort of criminal prosecution because you made a mistake. You used your middle name instead of your first name. You accidentally wrote the day you signed instead of your birthday, which are some of the things that currently the state legislature wants to criminalize. They want to make it a criminal offense to make a mistake like this on a petition where you are trying to exercise your right. And of course, living in a state like Arkansas, we know that people want to stay as far away from the police as possible when it comes to stuff like that, right? If we keeping it real, people don't want to do anything that's going to get them caught up. So that eventually means people are less likely to participate in these sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And what that ends up doing is shrinking our voice as Arkansans. So I'm on here begging people to be volunteers and to, at a minimum, sign this petition because we need to protect this right. In a time where we can't afford to lose any more rights, we really need to make sure that we keep this one because, as was said earlier, if we do not get this measure on the ballot and then pass it in November, all of our future ballot initiatives will be at risk. So this is critically important for us to get on the ballot for November for Arkansans to vote on and agree on, so that we can protect this right moving forward for our future Arkansans who have ideas and issues that they want other people to understand.
And I'll add to that risk that you just articulated, that not only are future initiatives at risk, but past initiatives are at
Mm-hmm.
risk as well, with the Supreme Court on December the 15th sending an opinion saying that the General Assembly here in Arkansas now has the right to undo anything that we've done in the
Mm-hmm.
past.
Absolutely. And that's so frightening, right? Like it's you I teach a lot about the the separation of powers and checks and balances and all these ideas that we hear about when we're learning the basics of government here in America. But one thing I try to remind my students is that these are, this is the way it's supposed to work. This process is supposed to work this way, but it only works as well as the people who are working it want it to work, right? So
Mm, yeah.
checks and balances exist, sure, right? The Supreme Court is supposed to be able to check laws that are passed. They're supposed to be able to check the executive. But if the folks on the Supreme Court don't value these things, if the people in the executive space don't value these things, if the legislators don't value these things, then checks and balances don't really mean much, because we're all on the same page. Like we're all on the same team. We're all just going for whatever we want, what will get us closer to our goal,
Mm.
which it seems like for a lot of people is not what's going to be best for Arkansans themselves. So yeah, I think it's really disheartening to learn that checks and balances and these systems that are put in place to protect the people are not being used to actually protect the people, and they're protecting private interests and
Mhm.
personal goals by people who have been elected to represent us.
Yeah, and that brings me to a reminder. And this is actually a call that I had 2 days ago, and I just hadn't had an opportunity to talk to both of you about it. But I got a call from an unknown number, and normally I don't answer those calls because I don't like
Hmm.
robocalls. But I
Hmm.
answered this call this time, and the person said, "Hey, is this Kwami Abdul-Bey?" I'm like, "Yes, this is." Then she said, "If you don't mind, I'm not going to identify myself, but I need to give you some information." And then I said, "Okay, I'm listening." And she said, she identified herself as an Arkansas state employee. And she said that her supervisor in her department put out a memo saying that no one is allowed to sign either of these petitions.
Oh,
And
wow.
she said, "Is that legal?" I'm like, "No, it's not legal." And he said, "Well, why would
Wow.
they do that?" Then I'm saying, "They're trying to scare you. But you have the right to sign." And I said, particularly the ballot measure rights amendment is going to help protect your right, so that it's all very clear that they can't do that in the future. So I
Hmm.
just wanted to bring that up to even let our listeners know that there is, when you talk about this lack of checks and balances, there are forces that are against us in getting both of these measures on the ballot in November.
Absolutely. And again, just to sort of close the loop on the civics lesson, um, the important piece right now is to get signatures. But the reason we're getting signatures is to demonstrate that enough people believe this is important for people to care about, whether you're agreeing with it or not, right? You signing the petition is not you putting a stake in the ground and saying, I definitely think we need to do this, blah, blah, blah. When you sign that petition, you are agreeing that this is something we should have a choice on, right?
Yes.
Whether we should say yes or no, that's for you to decide in November, because we're getting this on the ballot to vote on. So for anyone who's like, man, I don't know how I feel about it, the question isn't, do you agree with every line of this? Do you agree with the people who drafted it, right? That's not the question. The question is, Do you believe this is something important enough that Arkansans should be able to decide on it themselves, not wait for the state legislature to make up their mind on how they want to do it? Do you think this is important enough for people to vote on it themselves? That's the question.
Yes, and that's very important that you made that distinction, because once we get it on the ballot, that's when we can debate
Mm-hmm.
every single line, like you said, in it. So now's not the time to debate what is in it. Now's the time to say, hey, this is important enough. And I love the way that you said that as well. Is there anything that you want to add, Dara, before we bring Catherine in here to talk about her measure?
Just that this is something that sounds really complicated, right? Something that a lot of people say, oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm going to just stay away from that. I want everyone who's watching this to understand that this is something that is for you. A lot of times people don't participate in processes because they don't understand them and they don't want to feel crazy doing something and they don't understand it. Of course, who would want to do that? But what I want to tell you today is that a lot of this information has been purposefully made to sound very complicated so people will think like that and so they won't engage. So if you're one of those people, feel free to reach out to us and I'd be more than happy to break it down to you as much as possible in order for you to feel confident enough to both sign the petition and get other people to sign it, because this is a process that is not just for a small group of people. This process is for all Arkansans. That's why it was even created, right? It was for our ideas to get onto the ballot. So that's the part I want to end my piece on. Is just, this is something that's for everybody. It sounds very complicated and complex, but it's really not so bad. And I'd be more than happy to talk to whoever about it.
All right. Thank you. Someone wants to talk about it. I hear.
Listen, it is kind of a madhouse over here today. I'm so sorry if you hear background
Oh,
noises.
that's no problem at all. I'm a dog lover myself, so whenever you can let your dog join in the conversation, please do. But
Right.
Catherine, why don't you tell us about the Arkansas Educational Rights Amendment of 2026?
So, the Arkansas Educational Rights Amendment basically is about accountability. If we have vouchers, I'm so sorry, going to any group of people that aren't public schools, our argument is that they need to meet the same standards as a public school. And just to make sure that we understand the history and the context of a ballot initiative, Arkansas has passed some of the most progressive things in the state, moving us forward through ballot initiatives. All of our ethics requirements for the legislature, we've passed an $11 an hour minimum wage at a time when the federal minimum wage is still $7.25.
And because of that, we have the highest minimum wage in the southern United States.
This is the reason why ballot initiatives are important and why they are difficult to get past through the signature collection hurdle. It is by design. But the reason that this one is going to make a lot of huge impacts is because not only will it make sure that vouchers are actually up to the same public standards, it's also going to set those public standards into a law instead of what they are now known as the Lakeview decision. And having those enshrined in a law instead of a Supreme Court decision makes sure that everyone can see them and everyone, it's very clear and they can be held to transparency and accountability standards for everyone in education. Aside from the inside baseball on that part of it, the real impacts for everyday Arkansans are that it would require the state to create universal access to pre-K for every 3 and 4 year old. And we know that that is a huge boost to lifelong learning, and it helps set kids up for success. And it would require that we have inclusion for children who need extra help in some of these places that are taking the voucher money. Currently, there is no requirement that they provide any sort of special education services. And this would say, if you are going to have voucher money, you will have to help kids who have special needs. And the thing that is near and dear to my heart is that this amendment, would ask the state to be more proactive in helping students who live within 200% of the poverty level. Currently, 1 in 4 Arkansan children is food insecure. They're not sure where their next meal is coming from. And in order to learn, you need to be able to have that basic need met. And understanding that and making sure children have what they need to succeed in school. This isn't about judging parents. It's about being honest about having that need and meeting that need instead of waiting for that person to express a need. And it's near and dear to my heart because I probably, had this law been passed when I was a kid, I probably would have benefited from that particular addition. And so that's one of the reasons why I work so hard on this, because I know that it isn't just for the generation of people who are having children now. It's for generations of Arkansans in the future. And we're setting ourselves up for a lot of new possibilities, not just now, but 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah. One thing that Dara mentioned is about the benefits of all Arkansans. And I see that this educational rights amendment is a benefit to all Arkansans as well, particularly when you see that over 90% of all Arkansans attend public school. That's one. Number two is a lot of times when me working with the legislature and everything, a lot of times when you see laws, you see that they benefit certain segments of the population or certain areas of the state. Well, this educational rights amendment has the ability to affect the entire state, not just the urban areas, but the rural areas, not just the poor students, but the rich students, not just the Black students, but the white students. So it's a totally comprehensive amendment. What would you say? What would you say to that?
I think also a thing that I would like to highlight is that we already know these things work. We have already seen and we've created pilot programs where there are pre-Ks attached to elementary schools in the state. And we know that every dollar invested in pre-K has returns from between $9 and $17. And this would just make sure that the places that already have that program, they can expand that program and we can get that program to places that need it. It's creating an even system where currently we have a patchwork system and it's not being very well, no one has a full comprehensive overview of how all of this is affecting the kids and how their performance tracks over time.
Well, thank both of you for introducing the measures so that those that may not have been in the know are now in the know by watching this particular video. But let's go ahead and take the rest of the time to talk about any updates that you have to have. And I like people need an investment in the community like this. So thank you, Christina, for verbalizing that, because like you just said, Catherine, you spend $1 and you get $9 to $17 back. I need a savings account that does that.
That's
You're
exactly
not,
right.
every dollar you put in, you get $17 back. I'm for that 100%. So we're not spending money, we're investing money. So I appreciate that. So what updates do we need to know, us Arkansans? What do we need to know about what's going on with your particular campaigns?
Yeah, I'll go. So right now, I'll say something that I don't know that either of us have said already yet today. The final day for collecting these petitions is, well, the final day for us to turn them in to the Secretary of State is July 3rd. That is a month away, essentially. If we boil it down, we got 1 month to get every signature that we can in the month of June, so that by the end of June, right, the last day in June, we are counting, not still begging people to turn stuff in, not still hustling signatures, and we're ready to turn everything in an organized way on July 3rd. So what that means is we need people to tap in and tap in now. We are, both of our campaigns are supported by several organizations. These coalitions that have supported these amendments are strong. We have everybody from the Arkansas Education Association, the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, the Arkansas AFL-CIO, the Arkansas Appleseed Legal Justice Center, 4AR People, the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, Citizens First Congress, Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. Lots of different organizations are supporting both of these initiatives in different capacities. And what that means for us as the people is that even if you're not a member of the NAACP, even if you're not a teacher, even if you're not a union member, you are connected to this campaign in some way. There's some organization that I'm sure you're either a part of or you're supported by that is supporting both of these amendments. So what that means is everybody needs to tap in right now. And you do that by going to our websites and signing up to volunteer either on protectarrights.org or forarkids.org. And one of us will reach out to you. Either it'll be me or Catherine. We'll reach out to you about getting involved because we need support. We need help. We've got volunteer lead, like county leads all across the state, but they can't organize the whole county on their own. They need help. So wherever you are in the state, this is something that you can do. A lot of times we feel like, and doing politics in Arkansas is very much, if you're not in Central Arkansas or you're not in Northwest Arkansas, it's sort of, whoever's game, whoever's got the gun, that's whose game it is, right? But this is something that we need to protect because it's one way where everybody in the state is on an equal playing field, right? My signature counts just as much as Catherine's signature, whose signature counts just as much as Kwami's signature. So if you've ever felt like, man, I can't do anything, I can't get nobody elected that's going to represent me, I'm not running for office, all I see are these flags waving and these signs going up that make me feel worse and worse about the place I'm from, this is an opportunity for you to do something, get in the game. We're not electing a candidate, but we are certainly electing an issue that we need to protect and get in on.
Yeah, one thing, I've been working on ballot initiatives for the last 12 years, 10 to 12 years. And one thing that really trips me out about doing this is you could spend a year collecting signatures and it's going to be slow, slow, slow. But come June 1st, things speed up really quickly and you start hearing from people that want to volunteer. You start hearing from people that want to sign, and it gets really crazy during the month of June. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Is we have 1 month to get all of these signatures. We need roughly 91,000 signatures from throughout the state, not just from Central Arkansas, not just from Northwest Arkansas, but we need we're still going for the minimum of 50 counties. Right now, the law is actually 15, but we're going to keep going for that 50 because we want to make sure that as many people, as many Arkansans as possible, like you said, Dara, our signature counts the same. So we want to get as many voices as possible out there because direct democracy is critically important. Public education is critically important. So what is it that your campaigns need now?
We need to have a presence at every single event that is happening across Arkansas. And it doesn't matter if it is the weekly farmers market in your area or if it is the festival that only people in your Tri-County area know about. We would love to know. We have an extensive list of all of these events that are going on through Arkansas. And if we don't have one on our list, please let us know. But then also, we need volunteers to help us make sure every one of the I'm so sorry.
You keep going. Let's say we'll ignore it.
Thank you. Each one of these events is well attended with volunteers who can help as many Arkansans as possible make sure that their voice is heard. And I want to reiterate, just because you sign this does not mean that you endorse or approve of this. You just want everyday Arkansans to have a vote on these issues. And I think when you explain it to people in a way that just says, do you want to have a vote about this? A lot more people are like, oh, we can do that. And it's really a great moment when people are like, oh, this really matters. My signature matters. And through this work that I am so lucky to do, it's been wonderful to talk with people and explain to them, yes, we need your help to do this. And I feel like each one of those conversations comes with a little bit more of an understanding and they carry that with them and the next time you ask them for something, civically minded, they go, oh yeah, I can do that. I love to think of this as an invitation. I'm not begging you to do something. I'm inviting you to come along with me to make an Arkansas that I am so proud of. Because right now, yes, it is something that can benefit all of our families and all of our communities. And if you only have 2 hours to help us, I will be happy to find a place and a time that works for you. Some people say, oh, I can't do that. I don't have enough time. I don't, and they try and tell me that they don't have 2 or 3 hours anytime between now and June. And I understand summer is a busy time for a lot of people. But this can change the trajectory of Arkansas for the better. And I feel very strongly about this, that when people are involved in their direct democracy on a fundamental level, you get a view of Arkansas that is different than any elected official currently sitting in the state legislature. Because when you are asking people to sign, you can't ask them, what party do you belong to? And anything like that. It is a moment where you are just two people having a discussion about the true nature of democracy and your place in it. And stripped down, that's all this is. And at the end of the day, I believe that every Arkansan wants what's best for their community and their children and the children of others. And having the access to a ballot initiative process can help make sure Arkansas has a better future. And having a progressive Arkansan educational overhaul is part and parcel of what we should be using this for. Our legislature has continued to show us that they're not going to fund education to an adequate level. I absolutely love the fact that our Kansan said, okay, don't worry, I'll do it myself.
I love the way you just put that. And while you were talking, it reminded me of this vital statistic. You know, I'm the elections coordinator here at the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, and one of my many responsibilities is figuring out ways to get more people to not only register to vote, but to actually go and participate and vote. And signing these petitions, first and foremost, you have to be a registered voter to sign. So that's the first thing. So when we go out and collect signatures, that also gives us an opportunity to make sure that everybody's information on the voter rolls is correct. That's one thing. But even more important is that there was a study that was done by the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville just about 4 or 5 years ago, where they found through their empirical research that the average person that signs a petition is 17 times more likely to actually go vote because they sign, because they want to support their signature. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. I mean, both of you are hitting some fundamental reasons why this is so exciting for me. Uh, so let's see. When you ask them to sign, you are giving hope to people whose voices have been silenced. That's a beautiful way to put it. That is, I really appreciate that, Christina. Uh, so we need signatures, but in order to get those signatures, we also need volunteers, and we need massive numbers of volunteers. I know when we did this in 2024, there were thousands of Arkansans who volunteered. Uh, could both or either of you speak on the need for volunteers and what needs to be done to actually sign up to be a volunteer?
Yeah, I'll go first. Volunteers are how this operation is moving. Volunteers are how we've gotten to the point to where we are now. If it was on just me or just Catherine to collect 91,000 signatures, you wouldn't have me on this call right now. My head would have exploded weeks ago. It's only because we have such strong, capable volunteers that we are able to even take the time to do something like this, because we are confident that they've got it going on. Volunteers are vital to this process because, as Catherine mentioned, of course, we have a list from the internet, things that are going on in the community, but that doesn't tell us about the barbecues you got happening on the weekend. That's not telling us about the banquet that your church is having or that your local chapter of whatever is having. That doesn't tell us about all the small things that really bring communities together and the places where we could get signatures for these petitions. And you might be thinking to yourself, girl, I'm not taking this nowhere where my friends going to be. I'm not taking this nowhere where I have fun. I can guarantee you that our volunteers have done it. They've done it. And the more we do this sort of stuff, the more we expose people to it, as Catherine and Kwame have mentioned, the easier it's going to be, the more people are going to understand why you have this petition sheet with you at this banquet, why you have this while you sitting at the beauty shop, why you have this while you waiting on the person who didn't actually make an appointment but came and sat down in your barber's chair, and now they've been sitting there for an hour and a half. Why you had these petition sheets going around the barbershop while you waiting to get your hair, right?
Low
So
hanging fruit.
come on now. Our volunteers are really important because they help us see opportunities that we just wouldn't be able to see from just being where we are. Of course, we both come from communities that are very much relationship based, right? If you don't know anybody, you're not getting very far.
Mhm.
And we also understand that we aren't everybody, right? We're not everybody's cousin. We're not everybody's friend. So it's gonna take the volunteers to do some of that with us. We're not gonna leave you on your own. We have trainings, we have materials we can send you, and we can come with you sometimes. But it's gonna take people figuring out what's going to work for their area. What kind of event do you need to go to? What kind of conversation do you need to have? What makes the Education Rights Amendment make sense in your area? Why would people in your county care about direct democracy, right? You have to understand that us just throwing these issues on people doesn't mean jack. But if people from where they are can talk about what it means for that community, that means the world to people. The volunteers are critical because the messaging doesn't hit the same if it's coming from a stranger, and the urgency doesn't hit the same if it's coming from a stranger. So that, to me, that's why volunteers are so critical.
For me, volunteers. So I had a really lovely conversation with a volunteer not too long ago about an event we were trying to get volunteers to, and we kept not being able to hear from somebody. And she finally said, "You know what? I got it. Don't worry about it. There's some stuff going on in the background that you're not aware of because you don't live here, and you need to understand how this county operates in order to get anything done." Mm-hmm. And she said, "I don't have the time to tell you. I'm just going to take care of it." Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of thing that we need, because like Dr. Gaines said, I am not everybody's cousin down in Franklin County, but I can find somebody who knows how to talk to people in Franklin County to get things done. And I feel like Arkansas is always a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon situation. Mm-hmm. I can find somebody who can help me or can point me in the right direction. And I will say this, I have never met an Arkansan who didn't like to tell me where they were from, how we know each other. And when I say, "Oh, well, I'm just trying to get something done because I feel like it's better, it's the best way to move forward for Arkansas," and they, even if they don't agree with me, they're like, "Well, I really appreciate that you're doing this. Let me help you out." They may not help me out the whole way, but they will help me on my path, whether it is an inch or a mile, I will take it. And I have yet to hear someone say to me personally, "Well, I just think this is a bad idea." I don't think that there are a lot of things in this initiative that are just on their face bad ideas. Universal pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds helps improve reading scores through the 3rd grade. We know that it closes the achievement gap. We know that having a full belly helps kids learn. And we know that children who have special needs, when they have the proper supports, can live up to their full potential. And it is our moral obligation to help them do that. And I want a government that helps me to live up to my moral obligations. And volunteers are the way that we get this done, because they all have that same imperative. We may not agree on anything other than the color of the grass, but at the end of the day, most of us will say, "I do want our education system to work for Arkansas."
Wonderful. We have about 15 minutes left, so I'd like for both of you to go ahead and put out the information on how Arkansans can connect with each of your campaigns to volunteer.
Perfect. So you can go to 4arkids.org, and we've got that in the description link down here and the captions. And then you can just look and see where it says sign up to volunteer. And you can also look and see where on the tab that says where to sign. If you cannot volunteer for an hour or so, consider signing up and just getting your close friends and family. I guarantee you every Arkansan knows
barbershop and the beauty shop, like Dara said.
Or if you're in my neck of the woods, that would be if you are at the feed store or if you are at Tractor Supply, if they have that in your area. Um,
I'm going to tell everybody about your area. I went to pick up some petitions. I was in Springdale speaking, and I stopped by to
mhm.
pick up some petitions from Catherine. She did not give me directions on how to get out of there. So 2 hours
I just
later,
assumed Google
I'm
knew where
still
you were
driving
going.
through the mountains in Franklin County, trying to figure out where I am. I think I'm in Mexico by now, but like every 10 feet, I'm passing a feed store, a farmer's market. So,
Mhm. And it's one of those things too. If you just sit there and talk to people as they're coming in or out, and it doesn't have to be much. You can just say, "Hey, how you doing? Have you seen these?" Usually that's what it is. It's like, "Do you know what these are?" And they're like, "You're not selling me anything, are you?" And then you say, "No, no. I just need you to sign a piece of paper to make Arkansas better." And they're like, "Huh? Yeah, I'll do that."
all right. Dara, how do people get in contact with your campaign to volunteer?
Yeah, I agree with Catherine. They need to check the comments, check the show notes, where we have protect our rights. So if you're interested in the ballot measure rights amendment, that's the Protect AR Rights campaign. So you would just go to our website, sign up to get involved, and we would hear from you. Right, we're gonna hear from you. You're gonna hear from us, or any of those organizations. What you can do is stop ignoring the emails that the AEA is sending out, that the NAACP is sending out. Like, stop ignoring the
Stop
emails.
ignoring the emails.
Go ahead, because I know y'all, as many teachers as we have in this state, as many people in the NAACP as we have in the state, we ought to have thousands upon thousands of volunteers. So y'all quit ignoring the emails. Click the link.
Dr. Gaines,
Just come
thank
to
you so
one
much.
meeting and hear what we talking about. Please. I do trainings on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week, on top of the whole set of informational videos and documents that have been created by both of these campaigns to make sure that people know what they're doing when they go out there. Because we smiling and laughing, but we all take this very seriously. And we understand that this is an intimidating process for people, right? I don't want to make it seem like this is just some little thing that you're doing. No, you are signing up to turn your name in to the state, right? You're going to turn your name in as a canvasser, and they're going to have to review those signatures. So I don't ever want anybody to feel like this is not a serious thing. And I don't ever want you to feel like you would be doing this by yourself.
Yeah.
If you choose to be a volunteer with us, you are not going to be by yourself. We will support you. We have an entire campaign structure that is built to support our volunteers. That's pretty much what our job is to identify people who can support in different roles and support them as they do those jobs that they have signed up for. So get on the website, or check your email, because I'm sure you've gotten an email from one of these organizations, probably more than one for most of us, about how important these petitions are. And click on one of the links. Everybody got links for you to click on one of the links and give us your info, and we will make sure you have what you need. Please don't leave us hanging on this one.
And there's a new development where we've received funding for some additional help. So we talked about people who only have 2, maybe 3 hours to collect signatures, or who may only be able to collect at the barbershop or at church or at work or at school. But what about those Arkansans who say, hey, I am fully committed. I will give you 8 hours of my life, 12 hours a day to get these signatures. What are we telling these people based on this new funding?
Right on. So this new funding is game changing. If you can imagine, going from doing this just out of the kindness of your heart to doing it as a job would change a lot of people's work ethic around getting signatures, right? So this new funding has allowed us to do just that. We were able to hire a canvassing firm that's going to be employing people to go out and get signatures. So we have, first of all, I want to say we're not just talking about making Arkansas better and being there for the people. This is an opportunity to actually get paid this summer. And we're not talking about no chump change. We're not talking about no dig between your couch cushions and get your quarters out type of money. We're talking about a real job that we are offering to people to make some real cash this summer by doing the hard work of becoming a person who's going to go out and canvass and get signatures for up to 8 hours plus a day. And you can find that information via the links that we've been sending out, right? So you're going to get more emails from us. You're going to see more posting from us about this opportunity. So again, please stop ignoring the emails. Stop ignoring the emails. You're going to miss your blessing if continuing to ignore the email. So get in the email, click the link, consider being a paid part of this operation. And the thing is, what's really cool about that is, again, this is something that's for anybody, anywhere in the state. We're going to have some home bases in different parts of the state, of course. But just like we need volunteers and signatures out of every county, we're going to be needing to employ people in every part of the state so that we can get signatures from every part of the state. So we're not talking about no play money, but we also not talking about a play job. So if you have about 8 hours, we're talking about a full-time summertime commitment up until July the 3rd. So if you've got the time, or you got somebody that's over 18, that's an Arkansas resident, that's a U.S. citizen, that doesn't have any felonies on their record, that needs to do something this summer besides sit on your couch and eat chips and hot dogs all summer, you can ask them to apply, right? We need people who are willing to get out there, people who are willing to talk to folks, and people who are willing to do this work and also make a positive impact on the state. That's one of the things that really makes me excited about this opportunity, is because not only do you get paid, but you do get to do something that's good for once. I mean, how many of us can say our jobs are actually doing good? Like, you can directly trace where your impact is. And when you come in from the end of the day and you've collected 500 signatures, you can say, man, I have really done something. So
you'll be able to brag about your legislative record all your life.
Come on, man, because that's more support than some people sitting up there right now get. So
that's right.
I think it's a great opportunity as for folks, anybody 18 and up who feels like they got the energy, they got the time, they're willing to get trained, and they're willing to do this right. I say go for it, man. Go for it. We need y'all.
Yes, and let's put the link up for them to sign up for that. That's www.fieldworks.com/Arkansas. And that way, the starting hourly wage is $30 an hour. That's starting. You can, over the next month, you could actually get promotions, and you can work a minimum of 8 hours, and you could take in as much overtime as you would like. It's unlimited overtime for you, but it's to help in this effort because we're doing paid canvassers. They're going to collect a certain number of signatures, and volunteer canvassers are going to collect a certain number of signatures so that we can get to that 91,000 signatures on both of these ballot measures. So is there anything else in the last 5 minutes that we have not covered that we need to address?
Yes, there's just some, I don't mean to be breaking news here on the webinar, but
news. Do we have to?
Yes. Not, I mean, from an organizational standpoint, yes. We just heard that No Kings is going to be having another day of protest on June 14th. So if you are an organizer in the No Kings
universe.
sphere in Arkansas, please give me a call. Someone you know has my phone number, I guarantee it. And then if you are going to be attending any Pride or Juneteenth events in your area, please get in touch with us. I'm sure that you can go to the website and there will be contact us links there. We have a phenomenal team that helps us get all of that information. If you're going to go to either of those big events, we would love to hear from you if you are willing to collect signatures, because those are huge places. If you've ever been to a Pride, they are very joyous, they are very fun, and they are a place where people come together to hope for a radically positive world. And that's the kind of people who are most likely going to sign and believe in what we're doing. And some of them, unfortunately, don't have the time to wait to sign a petition for us. And we would love to make sure that we capture as many signatures there as possible, because it's honestly just fun to go to Pride. And Juneteenth is an amazing celebration. And we need everybody who's going to be at one of those events across the state. If you're interested in helping us, please reach out.
Yeah, let me tell you something real quick about Juneteenth.
Uh-oh.
If you telling me that you going to your Juneteenth to have fun and not talk about politics and blah blah this and blah blah that, you can take that and throw that in the trash. Juneteenth exists only because of people's tenacity. The only reason why we even have Juneteenth as a holiday itself is because when those people were alerted that they were no longer under the oppressive regime of slavery, right? A whole year after the fact, once they learned that, they didn't say, oh, well, I guess I'll just sit here and do whatever. They decided to rejoice. They decided to celebrate and commemorate that by continuing on, by telling the story and by making sure that people knew what happened, how even after slavery, we still getting information late. We still trying to access stuff that other people have had access to. So don't tell me you're trying to go to Juneteenth and party. This isn't a place for that type of thing. I say poo on that. Juneteenth and Pride are opportunities to do civic engagement, okay? Do not let people tell you that Pride is just a party. Juneteenth is just a party. Pride wouldn't exist if people weren't doing politics, right? Juneteenth would not exist if people were not doing politics. Many of us would not be here if people weren't doing politics in places where they were also having fun. So just wanted to put that out there, Katherine, because that also burns me up. You know, we've had these conversations on the side, like people saying, "Oh no, I don't want the petitions there, and this is just gonna be fun. We don't want to." Hey, man,
you don't do politics. Politics will do you.
Hey, if you don't get it together, and I'm saying you as us, if we don't get it together. Yeah. We're not gonna be able to have fun, period. Yes. So if we don't do this small thing, you telling me you can't sign a paper with a cup in your hand? Come on, man. Come on. We're being real.
With a red cup in your hand.
Come on, with a plate. You hold it with this hand. You hold your plate. With the other hand. Okay, it's that easy. Don't tell me that we can't do it. We can. We just got to figure out how. Don't tell me people can't be engaged. They can't be empowered. We can't educate people. We just have to figure out how. And that's why we need the volunteers. That's why we need people to tap in, because y'all know how to talk to people where you are. I know how to talk to people in Ogden, Arkansas, because that's where I'm from. I don't know what to say to people in Newport. I don't know what to say to people in West Memphis, but you do. I don't know what to say to people in where else is somewhere, Maumelle. I don't know what to say to people in Mountain View or Mountain Home or wherever, right? I don't know. But what I do know is I can give you the facts and you can figure out how to tell it to them. So we gotta stop. We gotta think outside the box, right? We're not asking y'all to run for office. We asking you, well, not
later though.
Not in this webinar. In this webinar, we giving you a baby step, and we said if you can get somebody else to write their name on this paper, You will have done your part for the day. That's
But
all we want.
But thank both of you. Let's close this webinar out by talking to our existing volunteers. There's a message, Katherine, that you told me you wanted to convey to our existing volunteers
Yes.
about the petitions that they currently have signed and notarized. You have the floor for that.
I need those back. That's all. And on top of all of that, if I have ever emailed you in the course of this and you have taken an action after that email, I am undyingly grateful for the fact that you trust me that I am going to be careful with your time and your commitment to this cause. I am so grateful that you decided to step up and be a person that is helpful for every Arkansan. I guarantee you all of our volunteers know exactly how important this is. I have never had to stress what this can do for people. They already know, and they are doing the hard work of helping to organize in places that haven't seen political organization in a very long time. And this is one of the ways that we can start to build a civically engaged community again. Because for so long we have wanted to do that within a party system. I want to use this as an invitation to say we don't have to do, it doesn't have to be binary, it can be all of us together. And I just have no other thing to say except I so value your time, and I am so grateful for getting to know each and every one of you, because there have been so many of you that we have laughed and giggled and joked and immediately gotten back to work. And you guys have made an impact on my life that I am profoundly grateful for.
Wonderful. So, as Katherine said, let's get those petitions notarized and let's get them signed and let's get them back to the main office here in Little Rock, because we have to start doing quality control and counting and everything. And if we wait until July 1st to start doing that, we're going to be up all night like we were in 2024. I remember in 2024, we were here 24 hours a day doing this. So the sooner we can start getting these back, the sooner we can start doing the work to prepare for submitting these on July the 3rd. With that, I'm going to give each of you final words so that we can close this out. And Katherine, if you have anything additional to say, I'd like you to go ahead and give your final words.
Please send in your petitions. Thank you very much. Find me 10 more volunteers who can then find me 10 more volunteers, and stay safe.
Thank you. Dara, what are your final words?
My final words are thank you to everyone who has shared a Facebook status, who has shared some time with us, who forwarded the email, even if you didn't click the link yourself. Thank you to everyone who has stepped out on faith and attended a training and said, this is my first time doing something like this, but I heard so-and-so talking about it. And so I'm going to try it, right? Thank you to everyone who has posted about this, right? We've had several people who have made their own little videos about how important these petitions are. So I want to say thank you to them. And I also want to say, we got to do this, right? We don't really have another option. Yes. So if you're waiting on it to be go time, if you're waiting for somebody to ask you nicely and say pretty please, I'll say it, pretty please. We got to get on the ball, y'all. We have to make this happen. And I'm so grateful for the people who are on this team already, and for those of you who plan to join us, because it's something we can and will do. But it's go time now. We don't have any more time to pretend and ask softly and sweetly. We're gonna get loud in a minute. So Thank you for everything that everyone has done so far.
And the only thing that I will add is the consequences of us not doing this are far devastating than you actually taking the time to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
This has been the Arkansas Public Policy Panel noon webinar. I think we have another, our next one is up in about 2 weeks or so. I don't remember exactly when. I don't have the schedule in front of me. This is Kwami Abdul-Bey. I'm the elections coordinator here at the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, and I thank you for giving your time for watching this, and get to those 2 websites, sign up to be a volunteer, get that low-hanging fruit. Like Katherine said, get 10 more people to do the same thing, and let's get this done. Because if we need 91,000 signatures and you get 10 people to sign, then that's just 9,100 people, 9,000 people. But if then you get 20 people to sign, we're looking at 4,000 people. So the more people you can get to sign, we all have to do. All right, everyone have a great day. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Katherine, for spending time with me today.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all. Bye.